welcome to the Geek Remix Podcast, episode 20. It's been a really long time because we've been really busy. Sorry about that. My name is Mari.
And I'm Stacy.
This week we're going to talk about the Yogcast. We're going to talk about stuff, like the Yogcast doing that stuff with the money and the new thing. Thor being a woman and French boys being kidnapped by themselves. And blanket forts.
And body parts and hipsters. And advertising.
All kinds of things. So first thing on the agenda is the Yogscast and their new form of payment. Would you like to fully explain how it works, or do you want me to, Stacy?
Basically, the Yogcast has set up a system where developers pay a monthly rate for... I forget what they actually called the thing. It's like Yog Discovery, right?
It says it's a percentage of their sales in association to the time of their video release, basically, which is not, maybe not everybody, I'm not understanding it, but to me it feels like that's hard to correlate, but I don't really like it.
So basically, the problem here is that there is not a way right now to directly attribute sales to YouTube views. Like, unless you had a button in the video that said, go buy the game, and people could only click on that. And that was how you could see, like, oh, well, like, this many people bought the game after watching the video.
Or at the very least, have a link in the description and also promote a code. Say, hey, if you get it like this, blah, blah, blah. I mean, that's not going to get all the sales, but at least that would be an indicator. It's just it's a really unfair way to charge the developer, in my opinion, because...
But you don't know that. You don't... Because you're saying like a certain percentage of the sales, but the percentage can also work out in favor of the developer.
If it's less than the average flat rate?
If it's less than, like, so say they choose 5%, right? And that's like the flat percentage that they choose. And say sales, don't go up very much, then 5%, would still be... wouldn't really be fair, because it's like, oh my God, we're paying you guys, or, 20%, say that. And sales don't go up very much. So then it's like 20%, like, holy crap. And, we didn't even get that much additional exposure from you guys. Like, oh no. But say sales go up like a bajillion times and you're paying them 20%, but you received so much additional exposure that it's working out more in your favor, because they're opting to do the service anyways. They know that they're going to be paying a certain amount, but they don't know like what the benefit is that they're going to get from it.
The problem with that is that it could be contributed to the Yogcast doing their video, or it could be contributed to either Total Biscuit or PewDiePie or someone else making a video, or a collection of lots of people doing it. So which is
why it's problematic, because you cannot figure out what's fair.
In addition to that, usually how YouTube paid Let's Plays go is that the developer will give you a free game, and then they'll say, I'll give you such and such money, like $2,000 to play the game and make a video. That's pretty much it. Like PewDiePie, he'll get something like way more than $2,000. But I know that Northern Lion has admitted to saying that he's been given $2,000 to $3,000 for making a video. But he will not give it a favorable review automatically. He's given bad reviews. So there's already a corrupt system, but this just makes it like corrupt and just like not good.
And also the problem is that if the percentage that the YouTuber is getting is like directly attributed to sales and not being paid up front, then the temptation is to give like a very favorable review to try and boost the sales and boost your own earnings from it.
Yeah. So like if you're not actually liking the game, but you're playing the game as if like you love it, Because you can spin any game you want to make it seem like it's the best thing ever.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like Soda Drinker Pro, that game is crap, but for some reason I really like it. And if somebody was just a normal person, they'd be like, I don't understand why you like this game.
Like me?
Like, yeah.
I think it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
It's the greatest thing ever. But, you know what I mean? Like, you can spin any game into being, like, ironically good and blah, 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 blah if you promise them money. Like,
yeah.
What I'm trying to say is you should contact Stacey and I, and we will do anything for money. Please.
So what I was saying to Mari earlier is I think that, like, I mean, it kind of depends on if the YouTuber has like a moral compass about doing that sort of thing. I personally think that I wouldn't really want to review a game and take somebody's money to review a game if I thought it was horrible. Like, what I would want to do is say, like, if a person says like, hey, I'm going to pay you X amount of money to review my game. And I looked at it and I was like, God, like, I cannot, this is awful. And not even in an ironic way. Like, there's no way that I would be able to say good things about this. I would have it would weigh on my conscience to be like, sure, give me $3,000 and then give them a shitty review. Like, I wouldn't want to do that.
In the agreements that some people make for videos, some of the agreements are just make a video good or bad, because sometimes even if you have a bad video, people will get it.
That's true.
And then also there are some companies who are stupid enough to come to a Let's Player and say, hey, you can only give me a good review. And you know that a lot of Let's Players are really sassy and will just immediately tell everybody, look at this idiot. Like, they just said that to me. But they just
tried to pay me off, essentially.
Yeah, there are people out there. Listen, I don't know who, but you know there will be that will definitely do that.
Take the money.
Take the money and do that. Us too. It's us. Pay us. We'll do it. So now that all that information's out there, you guys know that that's real. But not us. We won't do it. Well, we'll. Developers, we won't do it.
But here, like, I guess this doesn't really surprise me very much, because the system of reviews is already biased. Like, it's already bad. This
IGN.
This is just another version of bad. I don't really feel like it's anything shocking that people would come up with something like this, because at the same time, like, you know, say our channel was absolutely huge and there were like people just like banging down our door to play our games, and we played this game that was like never going to do very well, but we really liked it and we gave it a positive review, and then the game like took off and ended up making millions of dollars, and they had paid us up front like $200 to play it. Like, it would, like, one could argue that we had a very strong part in its success if something like that happened. And wouldn't it be kind of weird that these guys are like, you know, they essentially paid us like a very small amount of, like, this plays out in other businesses all the time, where somebody has it's like Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's like the same argument with people being like, hey, I contributed to this product's Kickstarter, and then the company was sold to Facebook for like $3 billion, and I contributed to it. Now, granted, Kickstarter is like from a purely donation perspective, but if it was paid advertising or something like that, that's basically what we're seeing here, where
I wouldn't be that upset if I was only paid $200 and then the game got really popular, because for me, being paid and then having a game become really popular because we played it, that just makes us more valuable as an asset for the future. And also, like, if I'm paid a flat rate and I agree upon that flat rate, it could either go north or south. So it's kind of just, that's how the way the deal goes to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know.
Just because that's the way something works doesn't mean it's working well.
Well, no, that's, to me, in my opinion, that's how I think it works well, because the agreed upon thing would be, I agreed, and I would think this is a good deal for me, that I'm going to play your game, you give me $200, this could go huge or it could go small, and it would be bad or good, blah, blah, blah. And if it got huge, that's good for me for the future, because now game developers know, Geek Remix, if you give them a video for your game's going to blow up, so we can charge more in the future. And I feel, for me personally, I feel would be more moral for me, because it's just a flat rate that can't be, like, construed for that.
But like you said, it could go north or south. So if you really wanted to keep it fair to everybody in terms of money, you would want it to be based on sales. So that way, if it doesn't do very well, then we're paid less, because we technically didn't pay a large part in the game's success. Say we did a review and it was, it was really good. We liked the game. We were paid $200, and then the game did $100 in sales. We just lost that developer money.
I don't think that it would be a good idea for the industry as a whole, because unless we gave people a promotional code. That would be the only way I would feel comfortable doing that, because that's the only way to do a direct
sale.
See,
you're talking about the attribution aspect. I'm talking purely about the money, not the logistics.
But for me personally, I can't conceive of, like, the theoretical thing without thinking of the logistics, because to me that's, like, all mixed up, just for me personally.
Yeah.
So I can't. For the theoretical, I would have to bring in the idea of correlating the numbers together for me to actually just...
But this is like how people start talking about the logistics. They have the idea first of, like, how the system should be, and then they figure out the logistics around it. Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. So
I'm saying, like, they have this idea right now of, like, a system where both developers and the YouTube creators are paid a portion of sales, like a percentage that is agreed upon, but they don't have the logistics quite down yet about how that.
I just don't want to take, like, a percentage of profits at all for anything that I wasn't directly part of making, because to me that would be like saying a trailer studio that makes trailers would get a percentage of the profits for a movie. To me, I just don't feel comfortable taking a percentage of profits for any product or service that I wasn't directly a part of creating.
Exactly. So in coming up with the idea first, which is what they did, they kind of rushed into it by not having the logistics down pat to make it fair for everybody. But I wouldn't
want to have a percentage of profits for someone else's game, just for personally my own stuff.
Okay.
Like, I would feel really bad about it.
I don't know. I think that that's an interesting way to look at it. I think that a percentage system can be fair, but you have to find a way to directly attribute the sales. And but here's the thing.
I'm sure it could work, and, like, I just would like to have the option to do it or not do it, because I would feel really bad.
Well, but that's the thing, is, like, people are opting into the system with Yogscast. Nobody is forcing the developers to do it. There's plenty of other, like, I don't think this would be a system that everybody would want to do or should have to do.
Yeah.
But I think that as with anything, there should be a choice. Like, do you want to do a percentage or do you want to do a flat rate up front? Because either one could work for you depending on what risk you want to take. If you want to assume a low risk, you'd pay a low rate up front. And that's a higher risk for the YouTuber. If the YouTuber wants to assume a low risk and the developer wants a higher risk, then you go with a percentage.
I just don't think, in terms of, like, selling a product, that an advertiser should have the right to get a percentage of the product.
But Mari, that's free will.
I guess.
We have the freedom to choose a shitty system.
Okay. The thing with the Let's Players, though, is that they are at the whim of the social contract, I guess you can say. Social contract of the gaming world. In that if you say or do something stupid or shitty, people will not like you anymore and not watch your videos anymore and blah, 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 blah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So, with this Yogcast and, like, Total Biscuit and Nerd Cubed and all these other people giving them the social pressure that their system is dumb, and then the cross fans between Total Biscuit and Yogcast being like, oh, no, I don't like Yogcast anymore. Let's go to Total Biscuit and not go to Yogcast anymore. Like, I feel like that's going to have a major effect on whatever direction they go in.
Well, here's an interesting question. So, like, if you were a clothing retailer and, like, I'm just trying to figure out, like, how this works in other industries.
I feel like other industries are not at as much of, like, the sway of the fan base.
Yeah.
So it's, like,
definitely.
It's hard to find, like, something that's equal. Because the income of a Let's Player is completely dependent on the loyalty of their fan base.
Yeah.
And that could be said for, like, pop stars and stuff.
You could do this with stocks. It's essentially how stocks work. If everybody buys stock and the stock of a company goes up, you know, and then people decide they don't like the company more, they sell their stock, they get a certain percentage based on how much they owned. They don't get a flat rate back. And there's a risk associated with all of that.
Yeah, I guess that could be true.
So this definitely is not like a new concept that's coming up because of YouTube. And it's certainly not, I guarantee you it's not going to be the last we hear of it either.
I still don't understand stocks. Like, I understand them, but, you know, I don't get it. I'm like, I understand why. You know how you can understand something, but then when you really think about it, you'd be like, none of that it makes sense, but I guess, you know. But, I don't know. On to the next topic. The new Thor is a woman. And if you're saying...
Wait, hold on.
Wait, okay.
Wait. There's one last thing, because I was going to talk to you about review bias.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I was going to talk about the Nintendo agreement, too. Never mind.
Yeah.
Hold up on the Thor being a woman. Hold up on you being offended.
So in terms of review bias, like, obviously we know that there is issues with review bias in YouTube, but another industry where that factors in pretty heavily is, you know how in, like, the United States, if somebody, like, sponsors a post, like, in a newspaper or, like, pays for advertising and whatever, it's like you have to make it fairly obvious that it's sponsored content. Mm-hmm. And we have this, like, big issue with, like, free journalism, like the freedom of the press, all that stuff. India actually has one of the strongest systems of print media in the world. And one of the reasons for that is because they do paid media, which means that if I, like, was running for office in India, I could pay a reporter to write anything I want about me and publish it in their newspaper, and they don't have to say that it's paid. So, like, for political candidates, that's, like, a really big deal. And that's, like, way bigger than YouTube.
Is that here? Oh, no, and that's only in India?
No, it's certainly not only in India. Like, people do it everywhere. But I'm saying, like, in India, it's, like, an especially big problem. And because they have one of, like, the strongest, like, the...
Newspaper-based?
Strongest newspaper industries, like... because a lot of their population is not, like, you know, on the web where they can seek out, like, any information that they want. Like, you have limited access to information. So, like, imagine if, you know, there's like all these different newspapers, but like there's not really a good way to tell unless you literally read every single newspaper. There's not a way to really tell like what's paid and what's not, because anything could be paid.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I feel like in the US, we have more.
You have to pretend that you were never paid. It's harder to find out.
Exactly. So,
what
about Nintendo?
Nintendo, along the same lines, is coming up with this like weird agreement for YouTubers, is in that like you kind of join their network, but if you want to monetize their videos, which is something that you cannot do right now, they'll claim your video, and you can't make money off of it. Like Stacey and I's Let's Play of Mario Kart, like that's all mostly claims. Like if that has weird ads on it, we can't do anything about it. All that money is going to Nintendo. They want it so that if you want to monetize videos of their content, be a Let's Play or a review of their game or any opinions where you use footage or sounds from their games, you have to say only positive things. You can't say any negative things. And basically this is what's happening is you're getting money from Nintendo and you are only able to give them a good review. So you're a reviewer.
That's only if you want to monetize it.
Yeah. So let's think of it this way. Total Biscuit is a reviewer. He makes money off of his reviews. That's the way he makes money. He can't make money if he reviews a Nintendo game. So either he can't make money off of being an honest opinion, or he makes money, gives a dishonest opinion, or he just doesn't make the video. So then you're just lowering the market to just people who want to make money. It's just lessening the amount of opinions that are able to be out there.
Yeah.
And forcing people who have to make money to either not do it at all or be dishonest.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, people can still make the videos and say whatever they want. They just can't monetize it.
Yeah, but the issue is that if you're basically being employed by Nintendo, it's just a very bad medium. So places like Giant Bomb, IGN, and stuff like that, if they make a video review, they can't be honest unless they're taking a hit in terms of money to their company.
Yeah, totally.
So that's a problem. Sorry, my dog keeps running around because he's an idiot, AJ.
I can't hear him.
Okay, thank God.
I think that the only people who would be able to still like do honest reviews are either people like us who aren't really taking a huge hit anyways.
Yeah.
Or people who have Nintendo as like a segment of their profits.
So what you're saying is that everybody should watch our videos because we're the only honest people in the world, and you can't listen to anyone else, so only watch us.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
You don't need anybody else.
You only need us.
We're the only people who care about you.
Exactly. Don't listen to other people. They're lying. They don't care.
They're lying. They don't care about you. Only we care about you. Stockholm Syndrome.
Anyway, continue. Sorry.
No, that was it.
Oh, sorry. So on to some comic book news. The new Thor is going to be a lady. And no, this is not a gender-bending Thor. This is not a Thor who got magically turned into a woman. This is not an alternate dimension Thor where Thor was a woman. What happens is that Thor, the guy who's currently holding the hammer of Thor, because as per the hammer, it says whoever like picks me up is Thor and like gets all these cool powers. And when you are the owner of Thor and you let go of it for more than 60 seconds, you just go back to normal, blah, 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 blah.
So that's actually Thor's dad's doing. Because when Thor's powers used to be confined to, this is what I read. I'm not like an expert, but
and it's like confusing. There's lots of different versions to the story, but basically, it's yeah.
It used to be that his powers were confined to the person, like Superman. You know, where Superman is just Superman because that's who he is. Whereas, his Thor's father Odin separated the powers into the hammer, so that whoever holds the hammer is Thor, not Thor himself.
So then Thor was kind of like Superman, but like if he let go of the hammer for more than 60 seconds, he became his alter ego, who was normal, just some guy.
Yeah.
So, anyway, Thor messes up big time. They don't say what he does this time, but you know how he is. He's always doing things. And whatever his name is, Thor's dad's like, dude, like, no, you're doing the thing again. You're getting punished, whatever. You can't have the hammer. No. And so I guess this new lady, somebody has to be Thor. So she's like, I'll do it. And I look awesome. So it's obviously going to be a temporary thing because you can't permanently replace a main character with an alternate gender one forever.
Comic book fans would like set fire to the internet if that happened.
Yeah, so it's obviously going to be a temporary thing, but I think it's fun. It's going to be a cool spinoff.
See, here's what is interesting to me. Like, what I don't know because I haven't thought about this too much, but what would I say if they were like, oh, Wonder Woman is going to be Wonder Man?
You know what? As long as they said it was temporary, I would be fine. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're always doing things like that. Like, oh, Batman got transformed right into Harley Quinn, and now Harley Quinn is Batman. You know what I mean? Like, they're always doing things like that. So as long as it was just, like, temporary, that would be cool. Like, if they made a storyline where, like, Wonder Woman, like, wakes up as a man, she's like, what the shit? But she's still, like, wearing her Wonder Woman stuff because she doesn't feel like changing.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I wouldn't mind, you know, as long as it's, like, whatever they do is just temporary and whatever. Because I'm sure they're going to do that temporarily. So they always go back to whatever it is. Like when Wolverine got his adamantium skeleton ripped off, like, that wasn't going to last. And you guys know it. Like,
yeah, Wolverine's just a normal guy now, and everyone's like, no, wait a second.
Yeah, because for a while, Wolverine was like, didn't have healing powers and didn't have adamantium, and I was like, all right, that's not going to last. Come on. So, nothing to be upset about. Cool turn of events. I thought that was interesting. The new Thor lady, she's got blonde hair. Can't see her face, but she's kind of buff. She's like a buff lady. She looks kind of like she's from Skyrim a little. So
yeah, I saw that.
So that's pretty interesting. In weird news, we have a French 12-year-old boy faked his own kidnapping to avoid going to the dentist, just like in Bob's Burgers. So let's get some details. Dental drama began in late May after he was found by police hiding in an Alpine village, saying whatever in, French place. Mm-hmm. He didn't want to go. That's it. He's a genius.
Can you imagine how terrifying that would be for the parents?
I know, but can you imagine what a spoiled brat you'd be after?
Yeah.
Like, why would you... Don't run away. It's either, I don't know what I would do as a parent. I think I'd either, like, ground him forever and always, or just completely spoil him forever. I don't know how to take care of children, so I have no idea what I would do. I probably think I would lost the kid and be like, oh, shit.
Probably, like, lock him in his room forever.
I don't know. I think I would realize he was gone and then be like, did I lose him? Did I leave him somewhere? Did I leave the kid somewhere? Where is it? Next is a guy was broken up with, so he decided that he was going to live in a blanket fort for 40 days and 40 nights.
Was this, like, in his house?
Yeah, so...
Because I feel like if this were in a tree fort, this story would be even better.
So his story is that, like, the last time he got broken up with, he was, like, a pathetic mess, and he didn't want to be a pathetic mess again. Uh-huh. And so he was like, I know. I'll live in a blanket fort for 40 days.
Wait, how does that
work.
Help?
I don't know. I can't remember what everything... Okay, so he kept a blog of it. 40... Here. It's a bunch of words, so here, this is what it is. 40 days and 40 nights.tumblr.com, but there's a bunch of dashes in there, so Just Google that if you're just listening to this through the audio. But I remember sitting at my mom's kitchen table, drunk off my ass, crying to her and my sister, asking why no one loved me and nobody wanted me. I vowed to myself I would never act that way again, so when this relationship came to an end, I knew I couldn't repeat history. I had to find a more positive way. The way I did this, and the most important lesson I've learned from this project, is realizing that I am lucky enough to have people around that love and support me and share their lives with me. My family, my friends, my peers. Surrounding myself with talking to them in great lengths has helped cease the pain, blah, 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 blah. I lived in a blanket fort for 40 days.
Okay, but so just hold the phone. Can you imagine how thankful you would be if you were the woman that broke up with him?
She's
if I was the woman that broke up with him and I read that, like, in the news, I would be like, you know what? Fuck that guy.
I was not that big of a bitch that you had to sleep in a,
I'd be like, listen, you cheated on me, I broke up with you, go live in your crazy ass blanket fort, okay? Get away from me.
If I heard that, I would, immediately what I would think was, I couldn't have been that big of a bitch to make him do that, right? Or what? But then, of course,
be convinced that he was a nutbag, because no matter how much of a bitch you were, why 40 days? 40 days.
I don't know. But of course, then we're just making it about ourselves instead of him, going on a journey. But still, I'd be like, why are you making this about you?
Yeah.
Of course, you got to take everything personally after a breakup, so everything is about you. And you're
Yep.
like, well, why are you going in a blanket fort? What about me? I got my nails done. No one's doing a news story about that. How about I get my nails, go to the spa every day for 40 days, see how that goes.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing that is also interesting is I feel like the story talks about his spiritual journey. If this story, I hate to say it, but if this story were about a woman, everyone would be like, oh my God, this desperate woman.
Well, I'm going to be honest and say I thought, oh my God, this desperate man, because I'm being judgmental, so.
Yeah.
I don't know. Would they? I'm just going off of what I would think. And I would think
I feel like when we, say if Taylor Swift released an album, an entire album, and all she talked about was wanting to get back together with an ex-boyfriend.
Isn't that what all her albums are? Or are they about how much she hates them?
No, some of the songs are about that, but other songs are about how much she's in love or other stuff. But if she released an entire album and all she talked about was her emotional pain and how she wanted to get back together with her boyfriend, I guarantee you people would be that desperate.
That's what Adele's album is about.
No, it's not. But
well, that one song is the one that everyone listens to.
That's one song.
Oh, wait, there was this. Never mind. I was thinking about a different album. Continue.
But when there have been guy artists who've released albums that are like that are odes.
But he's so sweet and caring.
Yes, it's heartfelt. It's an emotional journey, and it's just what? This is baffling. And I'm not saying it always works in the man's favor, because it certainly doesn't. Because if a guy releases an album full of well, you know what? Unimportant.
That song Lila, and then they asked Delilah, and she was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, exactly. She was like, I knew you for a day.
So relax.
I don't even really remember who you are.
So why are you making a song about it in your blanket fort? Please stop.
Yeah. Mari, so have you heard about this Japanese artist who was arrested for 3D printing her vagina?
Why was she arrested? Why are they oppressing her vagina?
Exactly. So, she She took 3D models of her vagina and was sending the files.
Wait. When you say vagina, like, okay, I'm trying to visualize. Are you concluding, is this like the inside of her vagina, like the tube, or is this like her labia and stuff?
How would she scan the inside of her?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm, because like the vagina, like, because are we talking about the labia, the outside flip, the curtains?
I assume it's the outside.
The meat curtains, of course.
Yes, the curtains.
We're trying to make this not sexual, so I'm thinking of disgusting ways to say it.
But she transmitted the files via email to customers who bought copies on her website, which under Japanese obscenity laws is considered illegal.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it just so the 3D mapping that goes into the 3D printer is illegal.
Yeah. But I don't know. There's not a whole lot of information in the article. I know that it's true because I've seen it in a couple different places, but like I'm really not an expert of Japanese obscenity laws.
I know that in Japan it is illegal to show pubic hair and it's illegal to show certain details of the penis. Which is why when you see, like, weird porn, like, it'll be, like, the most graphic thing ever, but then there'll be just a random image of, like, a metaphor. Because they'll be, like, they'll show the penis, but it'll, like, this very oddly placed bar will be right at the edge where that line is. And stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
So I always thought maybe if she... Actually, yeah, you can't really blur out a 3D printing, can you? No, you cannot. Because, like, I thought maybe she shaved her vagina, there would be no pubic hair, but maybe they can't show the clit or something. Yeah, I'm not really sure. But kind of what the article starts talking about is, like, what can be defined as obscenity, especially in regards to self-scanning, 3D printing, and art. She's an artist, so what she was actually raising money to do was to build a vagina-shaped boat. That could work. Like a kayak, I guess. I'm imagining this, and I can't stop. Help me. Help me. Yeah. In other news, in other 3D printing news, hold on. I'm going to copy this and send it to you. But in other news, people apparently are not dying fast enough, so they've started 3D printing body parts. Oh, like with flesh? I don't know about the flesh. I think that No, I saw something on that where they were like 3D printing ears and stuff, like with cells. Yeah. It was like really disgusting looking. It was really gross. Yeah. So, and like there's tons of other like logistical problems to working with cadavers because you have to refrigerate them and like they deteriorate, and so it's kind of like people have to die at like the right time, and people are getting healthier and living longer, kind of. So are they starting an initiative for serial killers or anything, or are they just doing the 3D printing? Just 3D printing. Because, well, they still need cadavers for forensics research, like... For catching the serial killers that we initiate. Yeah, so, like, figuring out how long bodies take to decompose in, like, underwater, in a forest, etc., so that they can determine approximate time of death in criminal cases. We need to figure out spaceflight pretty soon because there's too many people. Mm-hmm. So, and also, once we get to spaceflight, people are going to start having sex with aliens, and they're not going to make any babies, so that's going to help with the population control, in my opinion. Totally. Gay Stormtrooper figures. What? Oh, right. I wrote that for a reason. There is a guy who is making unofficial gay Stormtrooper figures in which he makes the molds, and he takes other old toys and dyes them and then makes little pink ones. That's the story. That's it. That's it. That's the story. Oh, I see. Yes, the gay empire. Yeah. So they're unofficial. So just do a Google image search for gay Stormtrooper. It's pretty hilarious. Yeah, and he makes other ones. Monsters and Drag, Miss Thing, Jesus Nutella. What? Gay enterprise? What? I'm into this. This is great. Okay, yeah. All right. Buy from this guy.
What else? Oh, so I saw this interesting article, which was, so we love to make fun of hipsters. The title of the article is "Hipster Finds Lifestyle Too Expensive, Reverts Back to Mainstream." And so the guy says, "I tried my best. I really did. I was juicing regularly, eating local and organic, and was doing my best to only drink craft beer. Unfortunately, my bank account just can't handle hipster living. All the stuff I was doing was great. But you know what's also great? Bud Light, frozen pizza, and chicken, and Coke. Was I saving a lot of money on clothes? Absolutely. I mean, I was buying stuff from thrift stores that homeless people probably wouldn't wear. And because I rarely showered, my water bill had never been lower."
Oh my God.
I know. "But those discounts pale in comparison to the money I saved when I go to Kroger and buy a half-gallon tub of ice cream instead of chive and lentil-flavored froyo from Whole Foods. Do I miss hanging out at the brewery, drinking with a scarf on, and talking about Radiohead tattoos? Actually, no. No, I don't. I'm finally free to go to Buffalo Wild Wings and watch sports on Sunday while drinking a giant Budweiser. The ironic thing is, if I didn't make this change, I would have been close to living out of my van, which would have made me a god among hipsters." Yep, that's the whole thing.
I don't really understand what's cool with hipsters anymore. Because sometimes the people will say things and I'm like, what? Because sometimes I feel like I know, and then I'll hear something and I'm like, oh God, I don't know.
Well, so
So hipsters don't take showers now? Or
no,
what?
So what sucks about all of these things that he's pointing out is that a lot of these things are like, they're good for the environment and all of that stuff. Like eating local and organic is actually, it's good for you and it's good for the environment. But unfortunately, because of cheap additives in food, it's really expensive. It's expensive to do that.
I meant there's the showering thing. Is that showering's bad for the environment?
Well, because it's more water that you're using.
Oh.
That's all. I mean, it's not like it's better for you or anything. And like buying thrift store clothes is better than buying new clothes because it puts less product out into the market. Like if everybody bought stuff from thrift stores, like there's already enough clothing in the world to clothe everybody. We keep buying new things.
Well, nobody wants to look stupid.
Well,
God.
I know, but see, like that's what I'm saying is like they mean well, but I think a lot of that stuff, they also take themselves like super seriously. Like super seriously.
I don't know. Maybe that's just like, how people take random things seriously. Like, I don't know.
Well, and it's like there's no reason that any of those things are necessarily bad, but there's no reason to look down on other people who are more into mainstream culture,
Yeah.
There's no reason to take yourself so seriously that you think that nobody can be different than you are, or that makes them somehow less of a person than you are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, as with anything, a little moderation is a good thing.
Speaking of mainstream culture, I have been watching Under the Dome, which started off really good. I'm pretty sure Under the Dome is an Amazon Prime only TV show. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it is.
Uh-huh.
And I liked it at first because it was really cool. Had a lot of really great characters. Had a lot of, like, there was an Asian, black, blah, blah, blah. There was a lesbian couple with a daughter, and they were like,
Woo.
yeah, we're sending her to, like, those...
It's on CBS. I don't think it's Amazon only, right?
Oh, I don't know. I watch it on Amazon as it comes out. That's the only one I can find it under. But, so I've been watching it on Amazon Prime. Starts off like this lesbian couple is bringing their daughter through a town, and they're taking her to, those boarding schools they take for kids who are troubled children. Because she was okay. She needed to go. And so, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's all kinds of different characters. Now we're on season 2. And, like, every single, like, one of the lesbian moms died. So now it's just, I gotta find my mom. And instead of, I gotta find my moms. And then, like, they killed Asian character, the black character who used to be, like, a really, like, hip, like, radio TV host that he would tell everybody the truth and blah, blah, blah. Just suddenly he's a cop now and super straight edge, like, for no reason. They never say why. And they killed the vaguely Latina cop. And they killed basically anyone that was interesting. And now all the characters are just like, hello, things are happening. The end.
This was originally a novel by Stephen King.
I haven't read it because I didn't want to ruin it for myself, but I don't know if it's different or not. But, like, usually he's really... Go ahead.
Sorry. I would trust that you're at the point now, like, if you're in season 2, where it's beyond the scope of the novel, I would think.
I hope so. I just, like, because usually he's really good at writing, like, diverse characters, despite his extreme perversion. Where it's like, okay, Stephen King, we get it. They had sex. That's enough. Like, you know? And, I was just kind of disappointed that everybody who was just a little bit different has, like, died suddenly. And I didn't realize that until I was into the second season where I was like, wait, where did everybody go? Like,
yeah.
Where is everybody? This is weird. And also one of the guys is so creepy. But I love it, but I hate it. The story is so stupid, but I can't stop watching it because I want to know what happens next.
Wait, I just watched a movie like that. Where I was like, God, this is so dumb, but, like, I really want to know what happens. Even though I kind of knew it was going to happen the whole time.
Wait, what movie was it?
So, it's called Upside Down.
I saw that and I was like, oh, Christian, whatever your name is. What's her name?
Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst? I'm like, I wanted to punch her so bad. I had to turn it off.
She got amnesia? And, like, what?
I stopped watching it because Kirsten Dunst kind of really annoys me sometimes. Like, sometimes I can watch her, but sometimes I'm like, Kirsten Dunst, can you please stop talking to yourself in your head about how awesome you are? Because I can see it, like, in your eyes. You know?
I mean, but, like, I really liked the concept that there are these two worlds who are,
me
like...
too. I love...
The concept was amazing. And from a science fiction perspective, you know? It was just, like, the rest of the story that I kind of thought was unimpressive.
And then, like, God, Kirsten Dunst, like, stop. Like, she was like, oh, yeah, I'm just, you know, from the upworld, and you're, like, some guy. But anyway, so, like, worship me anyway, like, like, okay.
What?
I just remember just watching this movie being so annoyed by her that I had to turn it off because she wasn't doing anything and the guy was doing everything for her, and then they were jumping through the forest and I was like, this is so stupid, and then I turned off the TV. How did it end? Did they end up being together or whatever?
Yes. I forget how exactly. You know how he's like, well, I could tell you about it when we're not on the podcast because I don't know if everybody else would have the patience to hear about it.
This is one of those movies that you should watch with other people and then riff on it.
Yeah, sure. I mean, because, like, it just, like, really annoyed me because I wanted to, like, see what happened from, like, not from like the romantic aspects, because it's like it's obvious that they're gonna get together, you know. I feel like that part was very cliched, but like the rest of the story about how there's like the two planets and they're like locked in orbit together and like material from one can only, all that stuff I just thought was really interesting. I mean, maybe that's because I just like I don't know. It just was really different from anything I'd seen. And so I really wanted to see it. And I watched, like, partway through it, and I was like, oh, this is so dumb. And, like, so I had to turn it off. and then I came back to it like a couple weeks later and finished it.
I watched this movie was equally stupid, maybe even more stupid, called Odd Thomas. It was on Netflix.
Are you sure it wasn't Autonomous?
No, it's Odd Thomas.
Oh, Odd Thomas.
Yeah. So it's about this guy who can, like, see, like, ghosts and stuff and whatever, and he, like, brings justice to the ghosts, being like, ghosts come up to him and they're like, oh my god, like, I just got killed, please help me out. And he's like, yeah, no problem, like, you know?
No probs, I got it.
But he's just, like, a chef cook and blah, and he's got this...
Oh, wait, I've heard of this.
Yeah, so I was watching it, and the visual effects and everything are so good, but it's so stupid. Like, I keep being like, I like it, but it's so stupid. I like it, but it's so stupid. And then his relationship with his girlfriend is so, like, over the top, like, not real. I can't. It was so. They'll just be like, you know that couple that you see and they're, like, in love with the fact they're in a relationship, but not, like, with each other?
Yes.
That's what they're like. They're like, we're so in a relationship right now.
And we're so in love with each other, and it's like, but what do you actually love about each other?
Like, yeah, it's pretty much like that.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, his girlfriend is so, like, written to be, like, a girlfriend. I don't know how to explain.
But not necessarily his girlfriend?
A girlfriend, but not, like, a human.
Yeah.
So, it was just so dumb and stupid. But I couldn't stop watching it. I was like, then what happened? Oh, that's so stupid. But then what happened?
I feel like that's kind of how Brandon feels about Doctor Who, because he's like, every time he sees me watching it, he's like, oh my god, like, why are you watching that show?
But Doctor Who's, like, stupid in, like, a really good way.
It's a really endearing kind of way, you know?
But, like, it'll have these things where it'll have its moments, like, where it's like, oh my god, yeah, totally, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like,
I don't
yeah.
know. I can't even speak badly about that show because I love it so much.
I don't know how Doctor Who does it, where it has this balance between just, like,
ridiculous.
It's so stupid that it gets away with everything and anything, but it'll still make you cry.
Yes, it makes me cry all the time. I
don't know how. I guess it's like
I'm like really quick to cry though, so.
Yeah. She was from the future and this one was from the present. He had to choose one, but they're the same person.
Yeah. I don't know why. I just am.
Yeah, I don't like crying at things that are relatable though. Too real.
Too real.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't like relating to people on an emotional level. It's not good.
It hurts.
Does anything interesting happen to you lately?
I don't think so.
Lately I've been getting into aquaponics, which means that you have a fish and some plants, and then the ammonia from the fish goes into the water, and you pump the water up into the plants, and there's bacteria on the rocks that converts the ammonia into nitrate, and the plants eat the nitrate. So basically it's a really fancy filtering system for your fish tank, but at the same time you get to grow food. It's fun. But I haven't started my big tank yet. I wanted to make sure it was perfect before I started. Maybe I'll make a video of it. It's cool. So, and then there was a gigantic storm in our area that knocked my power out for like 2.5 days, and all the grocery stores shut down, and none of the street lights worked. It was awful.
It's just, I mean, it's been raining like crazy here, but, you know, because I live in a more urban area, we've been pretty cool with that. Yeah,
like, because things are pretty taken care of pretty quickly where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't believe how much it's been raining lately.
Yeah.
It's the end of the world. Global warming. We're gonna die.
Well, and it's not even like it's light rain. You know, for long periods of time, it'll just downpour for hours at a time.
I know, like, and we're seeing huge floods here. Like, it'll be like, that lake wasn't here yesterday. I'm pretty sure there was no water there at all. So, that's weird.
Maybe it's time to wrap up the podcast if we're talking about weather.
Okay, yeah. Okay, bye, guys.
Bye.
See you later.